A decade ago, President George Bush launched the war in Iraq. The mission, he said, was to keep Saddam Hussein from using weapons of mass destruction. The weapons were never found. The war has cost the U.S. and Iraqis lives and treasure. 4,400 American troops lost their lives and some 32,000 more were wounded. There were more than 104,000 Iraqi deaths. Health care for surviving veterans could reach as much as $700 billion, making the total monetary cost of the war more than $1 trillion. Tony Perry, San Diego bureau chief for the Los Angeles Times, is here to talk about the role of Camp Pendleton Marines in this war. Tony, welcome back. Now, Tony, this war, of course, was very personal to a lot of San Diegans because of Camp Pendleton. How many Camp Pendleton Marines served in Iraq?
Tens of thousands, hard to figure. Totally, the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force is 42,000, 80% served, many of them multiple times, so do the math, a whole bunch. And then, of course, we have the casualties, 345 Marines and sailors from Camp Pendleton dead, 115 sailors and Marines from 29 Palms dead, 10 times that number wounded. First conventional troops into Iraq, the Marines from Camp Pendleton, where they were greeted by the SEALs from Coronado, who were there in a clandestine fashion. This was a local war, both the assault on Baghdad and then later the grinding war in Anbar province, the home of the Sunni insurgency. To us in San Diego, because of Camp Pendleton, it was not just an international story, it was a local story.
Absolutely, and very personal. And you had personal experience. You went to Iraq with the troops several times. What was your experience like there?
Well, I was always with our troops from Camp Pendleton during the assault on Baghdad, and then, of course, the fight in Tikrit, and then the grinding fight, the first one in Fallujah. And so while I have no political view whether it was a good or a bad war, that's for the historians and the think tank folks to decide. I have no views on that. But what I have views on is the young Marines and the young sailors. They are a terrific, terrific bunch. The greatest generation in all that, World War II, not going to knock those folks one iota. This is as good a generation, I believe, and others believe too. So if I came away with anything, I have no views on the politics or even how to proceed in the modern world, but however we proceed, you can bet that the Marines and the sailors from Camp Pendleton will be there, and they will acquit themselves honorably and fiercely.
You were with these Marines, I think, 7 times in Iraq, but of course you've been dealing with them forever. And as far as the course of this war, what kind of long-term effects of this war are you seeing as far as Marines and veterans and their families here in San Diego are experiencing?
Well, we're seeing it all here. There's no place in the country that has more Iraq and Afghanistan veterans than here in San Diego County. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, divorce, you name it, we've seen it here. Lots of good work being done, both at the Naval Medical Center San Diego, at the Veterans Affairs, and then a lot of private groups that are pitching in. Some of them publicly funded. A lot more to do, and of course the unemployment issue, the suicide issue. As you suggested in the opening, the cost of this war is going to be with us for a long, long time. Now, what was the benefit of it? Well, that's what we're debating right now. Saddam Hussein is gone. He will not be attacking an American ally like Kuwait, or he won't be threatening Bahrain. He won't be fighting Iran. He won't be throwing Scud missiles at Israel or developing terror camps to go into Israel and blow up buses. He won't be brutalizing the Kurds. Those things he will not be doing. But what does that mean in the overall geopolitical? I wish I knew.
Well, and that still doesn't change the effect on Marines and families
Indeed.
here in fighting that war. Now, the last U.S. troops left Iraq in December of 2011, formally ending this war. What can you tell us about the situation right now?
Well, what we have now is a shaky third world government with areas of the country it doesn't really control, and with volatile politics and with terrorism on an almost daily basis, rather increasing. That's not unlike a whole bunch of places in this world. No indication, however, that it's going to launch wars against its neighbors, etc., etc. The country was on its last legs before the U.S. got there in 2003, 30 years of a dictatorship, a ruined economy. It looks even worse now.
Okay, we are out of time. LA Times. Tony Perry, thank you so much for talking with us.
My pleasure.